Welcome to September 11th, 5 o'clock at the Penfield Town Hall Auditorium. This is the Penfield Trails Committee meeting of September 2021. I'm Nels Kerman, I'm presiding chairman, and we will go down the agenda, and we have participants from our executive committee here and our recreation director, Andrew Erkfis. Call to order. The first thing is approval of the June 2021 minutes. That was our previous meeting, as we don't meet in the summer. So please, committee, take a look at the notes. If there's any corrections, additions, or seconds and thirds. I will mention while everybody's looking at the approval of the minutes, we have a hike this Saturday. It's the Penfield Annual History Hike. It will take place at Channing Philbrook Park, also known as Linear Park. We will meet up at the lower parking lot by the pavilion, as we will gather in the pavilion at 9 a.m. for all participants and staffers. And we'll go over some of our printed out history of Penfield, geologic and otherwise, that we put out for the bicentennial. We always get new people that like to scarf up some of that interest, and then our staff will vote whether we go upstream or downstream along Irondequoit Creek. We hope for good weather. 9 o'clock, Channing Philbrook Park entrance. Look for the hike signs.
I move that the minutes be accepted as presented.
Second.
Ed first and Terry second. The minutes have been approved. Let's review the hikes from this summer that took place. On June 12th, we did Webster 4 Mile Creek, 2 staffers and 10 hikers for a total of 12 people. On July 4th, July 3rd, Bob Ansaldi and I marched in the annual town parade representing Penfield Trails Committee. We parked our cars successfully by the high school track and found them there at the end. July 10th hike, Abraham Lincoln Park, led by Bob Ansaldi. We had a total of 9 people, 3 staffers, and 6 hikers. August 14th hike, Ellison Park South. 2 staffers led by me and 8 hikers for a total of 10. That is the summer hiking results review. Next item is the public relations and staffing for upcoming hikes, which I mentioned already. September 11th, 9 a.m., Channing Philbrook Park. I will bring all the history items. I will bring the hike signs, and I'll get there at 8:30. Eagle Scout project updates. I have had 3 inquiries from Eagle Scouts. I told them to get together with their Scout administrators for the paperwork and then come and see me for immediate projects, and the projects are boardwalks to be built for our own 4 Mile Creek, kiosk at the 5 mile entrance to help me.
Honey Creek.
Honey Creek Park, which is, we'd love to get our kiosk built up there. And in general, kiosk rehabilitation is also part of this. So 3 scouts have contacted me. I'm waiting to hear back from them because we're ready to go if they contact me. And I will review with Ed the troops they're in and get back to them tomorrow to say, hey, we're waiting for you, what's going on? Three nibbles in the wind right now. Immediate trails need report. Has anybody been out on a trail recently and found something blown over in the way or needs mentioning here? To let Tim know, Parks Director Tim Masterton, who should know about this. All right, I've gotten that far. Conservation Board
Conservation Board is meeting next week, but I can give you a little bit of what they did during the summer and where they stand on some of these. They inspected a property at 2515 Penfield Road, 1492 Sweets Corners Road, and 2735 Penfield Road. And they also reviewed tree harvesting. They approved the one for 2515 Penfield Road, and the other two they were reviewing to make recommendations to the planning board. The tree harvesting proposal was scrapped as the owners decided it wasn't worth their while to continue along that. Like I said, next meeting is next week, and there'll be further updates after that meeting. Oh, and they did not do the hike on the RIT property that they had originally tried to do.
We'll get back to that at the public participation time. Just to
Okay.
get any clarifications on moves along that line. All right, held items, and Andrew, this is something we proposed and something we'd certainly like to do, especially if we get some Eagle Scouts on board, and that would be kiosk evaluations and future design standards for all of our parks, especially if kiosks are either missing or in bad shape or need severe rehabilitation, that we come up with a standard design. I'll let you just talk about that.
Yep, yeah, we've gotten some phone calls over the summer and in the spring, just in regards to the kiosk. Maybe some of the information is outdated and they wanted some updates, maybe some trails maps and things like that. When talking with Nels and Tim, with some of the scout projects coming up, the thought was if we're going to be building some new kiosks, maybe coming up with a standard of this is what a basic Penfield town trail kiosk looks like. Map placement is in the same spot. Other information, deciding on what needs to be there, maybe some seasonal updated information, and then that will give us something once they're all kind of squared away and standard. We can then say, okay, we'll go in and update it early in the spring, have that be in there, and then update it seasonally from then on. But just kind of going through and making sure that all the maps are updated, all the information is up to date as up to date as possible. And I can work with Tim and the rest of the Trails Committee to find out what those standards should be, and then communicate that to maybe a Boy Scout or an Eagle Scout project to go around to kind of head that up to start.
The next two items relate to just what Andrew talked about. Trailhead fitness report. In other words, is that kiosk updated in every possible way and functional, along with the Wegmans Passport rubbing post is obvious to the people coming to the trailhead and walking in, and they'll be able to get a proper rub out of a very functional post, and that all is tied in with trailhead fitness report and kiosk update. So I appreciate Andrew, and we'll get together on that, and possibly this is also a chance again for Eagle Scouts to get in on this whole fall project from our end, their end, and making the trails look better. So we go down to public participation. Ed, Willow Pond update, construction, liaison, et cetera.
Well, the Willow Pond trails were being updated by Watermark and their designee Dezio Construction. To date, a lot of the stonework has been done and some of the top stone has been done. The town has been out once to inspect and found that the project wasn't finished yet, so that more work needs to be done. I had a meeting with the code enforcement today, and they're going to see if they can't kind of expedite things and get things coordinated between all the members so we can keep the neighbors happier in the area. There's some other drainage work that needs to be done in their area also, but the trails are up and running. They're usable. They're just not finished.
Thank you, Ed. In another area for an update that Ed and I talked about before the meeting, and we had talked about it in the June meeting, and that is Penfield Road sidewalk from the bridge overpass up beyond Gentles.
I don't have any updates. Is there anybody from the town that can give a report on that?
I will be happy.
Anthony.
I will be happy to do that. BME is in the process of designing those sidewalks. If you recall, one of the requirements of Dolomite, Old Castle, former Odenbach, that it was their responsibility to pick up from the bridge and take that sidewalk right up to the old Penfield Road where it comes into Penfield Road. Additionally, we signed a contract, a separate contract with BME to extend those sidewalks from Penfield Road to the existing sidewalks just past Gentles property in the land that we own on Penfield Road as part of the open space to connect those two sidewalks. So BME is underway doing that. I think their hopes were, in a perfect world, to possibly do that this year. I would say that it's more likely that it would be done next year. And I say that because of the concrete shortage, the amount of work that the contractors have. I would expect that it would be a 2022 project.
Thank you, Supervisor Anthony. The other one that we
Just
talked
to
about.
clarify, so the town will pay for the, now,
We would pay for the small piece. It's about 250 feet plus or minus, basically where Old Penfield Road, if you will, comes into Penfield Road. We would go across the Gentle property and across the property that is the town's as part of the open space. But everything from there down to the bridge would be paid for by Old Castle Dolomite Group
on Penfield Road or Old Penfield?
on Penfield Road. So they'd come up, they'd put a retaining wall in because the bank is pretty steep, and they would put a retaining wall and then take that right up past their driveway. They're no longer at that location. They've since moved to the Panorama Office Park, but they're still responsible for sidewalk install.
In addition to the sidewalk project, there was a piece of trail underneath the Penfield Road Bridge that needed refurbishing. I need an update from the town as to if that got included in anybody's budget, because that was washed out by a flood.
So what I'll say to you, Ed, that was washed out by a flood now, probably coming up on 2 years.
Yeah, but
And as we've gone through the 2022 budget, which we will be releasing to the public on the 22nd of this month, funds have not been put into that budget at this time.
okay, so that probably will need to be completed after the sidewalk project is finished, because there's no need to have one without the other.
Right.
One additional item that went through the planning board was an expansion of Lucian Moran Park down on Arundequoit Boulevard. There's about 3 acres that was part of a parcel that's being developed by a high-rise that's going to be donated to the county for an addition to that park. Doesn't affect any trails, but there may be trails on it that we can look at in the future to see if we can incorporate them in with the trails that are already in Lucian Moran Park.
I'd only offer up this just to make sure all the cards are on the table. While there's an interest to donate that piece of property, the county's not willing to accept it unless a phase 1 environmental study is done. And the developer, at least at this point, has not been willing to do that, nor has the county. So I would say that there's a high likelihood that that property would either be kept with the Dr. Howitt property, or if Dr. Howitt can negotiate with the property owner that is between his property and Lucian Moran, which is the last house in the cul-de-sac at Old Westfall Road. So don't count that as a definite in the can for the County of Monroe.
We wouldn't do that. We would wait till all the i's are dotted and all the t's are crossed.
Amen.
As long as we know where the boundary is, so we aren't on private property when we're doing our hikes down that area.
Another item left over from June, I'm going to call on Fran Schiappa on this one. We needed to get some things done with Baker Commodities. Could you review what we would like to get done with Baker Commodities?
I was trying to catch up with Tim, and I missed the connection with Tim to talk to him about underneath the bridge and widening the trail along the creek, and right now there's no progress on that.
Thank you. And then we also discussed something in June, and Ed and I were wondering about it before the meeting, and Terry Bruce might be able to update us or not. Terry, the people along Panorama Trail, private owners, and RIT.
Yes.
Anything on it since?
Nothing that I'm aware of. Bob and I had talked, and we didn't come up with anything that was valuable to use that we could follow up on with any of the local people there. So I don't have any additional information.
So it's sort of a neutral situation.
Yeah.
There's no, okay.
I would ask Mr. Supervisor, we have a piece of property that used to be an old sewer plant down there. Is there any plans for the town to do anything with that property other than to clean it up?
Off in Smith Road, you're talking about the Smith?
No, it's off of Panorama Trail.
That piece of property there, which would be kind of on the west side of Panorama Trail.
That's correct, yes, that's the one.
Yeah, I'm, without going back and having some conversation with Parks and Rec and DPW, I don't have any more information at this point. We can look into it, but I don't have anything at this point.
Thank you.
Yep.
Anyone else on open discussion? Bob?
One, is there some published place where the meeting schedule is? Because I can't quite figure out what the frequency of, well, ever since we moved from Tuesday to Wednesday, I can't figure out, is it the first Wednesday after the first Tuesday of the month, or is there something written?
It should be the first Wednesday. I know that when we looked at it back in June, we looked at September and skipped it to the 2nd, just because it fell on that first Wednesday and it was right around the Labor Day time. But it should be the first Wednesday of every month from here on out.
Okay.
I will send you and the Trails Committee
I
schedule
actually
for the
looked on the
rest of
website and I couldn't find anything.
Yeah,
So
and then once that's
First
out,
Wednesday.
I'll have it up on the website.
Except if we've got a long Labor Day deal.
Yeah, I'll get that out and have it up on the website as well.
And second question is there a hike leader for Saturday? I'm not sure I'm going to be there, so I just want to.
Whoever, I'm encouraging our executive committee staff to show up so they can make a collaborative decision on upstream or downstream, but I'm going to be there, and if anybody else will help me make a decision. Like maybe Jenny or something, you know. So, all right, we don't have anything else. I just want to review, while we're on camera, our up-and-coming hikes. This Saturday, the history hike at the Pavilion in Channing-Filburn Park, 9 o'clock. And a real good oldie but goodie that we really want to get out and to let everybody know about, October 9th, Saturday at 10 a.m., Shadow Pines property, 600 Wayland Road. We'll meet in the parking lot October 9th at 10 a.m. And then November 13th at 10 a.m., we'll go out east and enjoy the many options and 2 crossovers of the Commission Ditch at Sherwood Fields Park. We will finish December 11th, whether it's snowy or not, December 11th at 10 o'clock, Saturday at the 1,000-acre swamp. That's our future schedule. So for the Penfield Trails Committee, for Supervisor LaFount, we thank you for the meeting, and we are done and out.